Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Quadash, and double honor to the elder apostles of the great no stone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Bashmel Shai Brakatham, to the elect, as we all believe that we are from the least to the greatest of us all. It's your brother Laban, and what I want to do is I want to get into this news, as you can see, as this Elamite is declaring, or has declared, as this reads here, ex-MI6 spy warns of a 9/11 style attack in the UK very soon. And, it's either two things that's going on. It's either they think that we're freaking stupid, like we didn't go through this before, and that we don't understand, or we've just lost memory of what really was had as a result of 9/11 anyway. What was the real reason behind that? And or maybe there's a new generation that's alive and well and kicking, and they don't know any better, so they're using the same playbook on them, because maybe they don't know, because they weren't even around when this happened, or if they were around, they were probably like 3, 2, 4 years old. All right. But again, even this generation, they're waking up and they're realizing, wait a minute, this was all an orchestrated situation, which stems all the way back to them same old JOOs. All right. So now let's get into this over here. A former MI6 operative has warned that Britain faces the threat of a catastrophic terrorist attack comparable to 9/11 or the 7/7 attacks. Hundreds of Al-Qaeda sleeper agents hiding in the UK are ready to unleash carnage, according to the former MI6 spy Imminently. So once again, it's the same playbook that they're going to be coming with. And this is just going to do is to convince the British people why they must fight, why they must join the military to defend their nation. Just like, for example, when 9/11 happened, what we talking, 21 years ago now, September's already passed. The American people all in arms, and that's when you had a lot of people that joined the military to go over there to places like Baghdad and Iraq to go get people such as Saddam Hussein and all of that. And it came out that pretty much those people had nothing to do with that at all. And as a result, millions died fighting something that it wasn't really what they said it was. You had characters like the president, which was at the time President Bush, people like Condoleezza Rice and I forgot that Jake. I forgot the that Jake that was there, and you had that whole cabinet, man. This other, and you had this other Jay that was rocking with him. What was his name, man? What was his name? His name was Don Rumsfeld or some shit like that. All of these people, and you best believe you me. I mean, come on, if we know now what 9/11 was really what it was all about, right? How much more they would have had known at the time before it even happened. They caught this man in the school reading books for children. I'm talking about President Bush at the time, while this shit was happening. Like, he didn't know what was going to be had. They probably told his ass, look, go to a school somewhere and go read books with kids. And you had this ugly, decrepit looking Jay, which most of the asses is ugly anyway. This buzzard. What's his name, man? Larry Silverstein. Larry Silverstein is one of those individuals that owned the Twin Towers, right? So his insurer, I got it on my phone right here, right? It says Larry Silverstein received roughly $4.55 billion from his insurer for the World Trade Center site destruction after a long dispute though he initially sought much more, claiming up to $7 billion or even $12.3 billion in damages for the event of 9/11, eventually settling in 2007 for less. So of course he went to court, and that's the money he got from it. And meanwhile, people died under those buildings, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, people went to go fight these wars. People were inside these buildings and died as a collective. And these niggas was just making money off of that. You know? But it was really to propose an agenda. And that was for the sake of I think if I'm correct, the Patriot Act. Let me see if I can go back into that Patriot Act real quick. It was something in regards to that. The Patriot Act. Yeah, 2001. Exactly, yeah. So it says the USA Patriot Act 2001, uniting and strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism, was a sweeping anti-terrorism law passed after the 9/11 attacks, granting expanded surveillance powers over to the U.S., right? To the U.S. law enforcement and intelligence agencies, easing information, sharing and strengthening anti-money laundering efforts to prevent future terrorist acts. And that was the whole point of that situation. It was to bring that in, right? So if this one happens again on the soils of the UK, they'll be able to bring in the what is called the Civil Contingency Act bill. Bring that in, right? And act on that. And this is something that we used to speak about years ago. And it hasn't left my mind at all, right? Because we got to be aware of all things, man. You know? So if something like that was to happen on the soils of the UK, they can bring in this act and bring martial law. Yeah, so this is what I want to show you, brothers that are watching, and as well as you sisters too, right? So these are all of the introduction that they're showing you here, what it's made out of, right? The meaning of emergency, duty to assess, plan, advice, as you can see here. But what I want to go all the way down to, which is where I was at before anyway, I want to go back down to part 2, right? Showing you that they can actually declare a state of emergency. You know? If they suggested, or if they felt threatened due to some sort of T attack, if that was the case, right? They can bring about these contingency acts. You know, like for example, you have what was called the 7/7 bombing, which was in 07. At the time, I wasn't here. I was in the States when this happened, but I remember hearing it from the news over there too. Right. So as this reads, it says Dean, who worked as a double agent within the terrorist group for 8 years while feeding intelligence to British security services, believes an attack is inevitable. It's not about if another 9/11 or 7/7 attack will happen. It's about when, he told The Sun. So you know this guy, he's an insider, man. How is he able to tell The Sun and the Mail Online? Like, these are two major mainstream media outlets down here in the UK. This ain't some fly-by-night random nigga that just came up out of nowhere and now he got something to say. No, this dude is an insider. He calls himself an MI6 spy, right? But he could still be MI6. You know? Who knows? Yeah, the Mail Online reports Mr. Dean's risky work while a member of the T group helped to foil significant AI, Al-Qaeda T plots, including one that would have targeted passengers on a subway in New York. Now he has shared his concerns that there could be hundreds of sleeper members of the organizations in the UK, and that the West is wrongly focusing on Russia as the number one enemy. Mr. Dean claims it is Iran that should be the focus of government policy in order to protect the British people. Right, because Iran has always been the focus. It's always been Iran because Iran is a threat to Israel. That's the nuts and bolts of it, right? They want to get Iran out of the way so that these niggas can remain in power. That's all it is. All right, we know who controls the government of the UK. We know who controls the government in the so-called United States of America. Is them same big wig wearers, tiny hats, small hats, whatever you want to call them, 48ers. It's them same individuals. All right, it's them same niggas that's running everything. All right, and this whole Al Qaeda group, we know. Listen, man, like we ain't fucking stupid. We done already done our research years ago about where Al Qaeda stems back to, where Mossad stems back to. People ain't stupid no more, man. I mean, okay, cool. You may got some people that are slow on the mark, but it's looking to me that a lot of people are catching up, man. Especially down here in the UK. People are waking up, man. You know, and I don't know why they're doing this again. Maybe they think we're generally stupid, and or maybe they're doing this to the younger generation because when this happened, some of them were around, and if they were around, they were probably like maybe 3, 2, 1 years old. So they don't already remember exactly what happened, right? But us, those are in between their 30s and their 40s, we remember when this happened, like it was yesterday, and then we remember reading about what was really the truth behind all of this shit. All right, and I'm talking about, of course, you know, the early millennials to the mid millennials. We remember this very clearly, like it was yesterday. You know, so I don't know. I don't know if they think we've forgotten, because how could we ever forget about this? This was a big thing. So much so it actually changed the frequency of society, as I can quite recall when this happened. It just felt different in the air after this happened. You know, at the time I was here, man, I just came home from school. My father picked me up from school, came back to the crib, and all of a sudden I watched Sky News, and I see the buildings smoked up. You know, they showed building 7 came down like a demolition, as it was, right? And yeah, that's just the thing, man. I mean, things then became different, but it was really to bring in what? The more surveillance. That was the whole ordeal of that. Not to go in too deep, but let's continue to read some more in this as well. Now he has shared his concerns that there could be hundreds of sleeper members of the organization in the UK, and that the West is wrongly focusing on Russia as the number one enemy. Mr. Dean claims it is Iran that should be the focus of government policy in order to protect the British people. Because prior before, around the 15th of this month, this newly come MI6, I guess, leader or such, she's a woman, and she declared that pretty much in a way that we got to be on the ready. We got to be concerned about what Russia's doing, and then this other guy, he came out saying that, look, man, we got to get our kids to go fight. Our kids got to join and fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's that same energy they trying to push out there. But now, all of a sudden, this nigga just comes out of the scene, and they probably told this guy to start talking, man. Like, look, just switch up the whole narrative now, and say, look, nah, Russia ain't the one that we got real beef with. It's really Iran. Russia ain't the problem, it's Iran. But Iran has always been the problem. That's always been the agenda. The agenda has always been to get to Iran finally. You know? And this is something that we was talking about a couple of days ago, man. When I was with the brothers, man. You know what I mean? Like Shalom to the brothers and the Saquon and them brothers that I was with, right? And we was touching down on this right here. So now it's like, again, it's the same play fucking book. what they do is they villainate the enemy and then propagate the same narrative about how, oh yeah, well, we got to worry about Iran and the Muslims and all of this extra stuff, and get people kind of hating on the Muslims and hating on the people of Iran to go fight these people. All right? Because ultimately, it's not for the sake of defending your nation. It's for the sake of defending them Jays and serving the interest of them Jays, because those Jays, first, they want the East to themselves. So if they can sanction themselves there, then it's like, okay, yeah, we can confirmly coin now that we are the people of the Most High, right? Like we got this shit now, but under the guise of Satan or something along those lines. That's what they want to do. They want to sanction themselves as the original people of the East under the guise of Shaitan. But that's not going to work. And then they want to eventually set up the kingdom, set up a particular kingdom that's going to somewhat reflect the kingdom of heaven, where they're going to have all resources all to themselves. All right? That's what they want to do, man. But this ain't going to happen, because prophecy does not say that that's going to happen. So therefore, it ain't going to be the case. What will happen is the fact that we going to get back to the East and we going to run all of that in righteousness. And these niggas is trying to get up in there. They going to end up right where they belong, in slavery. So anyway, let's continue what he was saying, man. Unfortunately, I would love to tell you the world is an amazing place, but it's not. Mr. Dean said a threat like Iran needs to be countered because of the fact that they are a nation that has sponsored theism. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's a statement, ain't it? Okay, so anyway, and it's not that we care about these people in Iran. We don't give a shit about these nations. Just go at it already, because we want to get the hell out of this bitch any doggone way. And I wanted to speak about this too, reading this article, but I didn't. That's cool. And yeah, this film is about something similar to what they're saying over here, or what this individual has been saying. Excuse me. And what I should have done, and I'm ashamed of my damn self, because I should have been saw this already when it came out, but I didn't see it. But I'll see it eventually after I get done doing this lesson, Lord willing. I'll check this out real quick and see what it's all about, and then I can kind of get an understanding what Kaveri will be had in the UK, because we know Esau is up to some hidden agendas, man. And as well as we are aware that cases like these are gonna happen, man. It's just a part of the counsel of the Lord, you know. And it's expected. It's to be expected. I mean, if you're in the truth and you don't expect ill shit to go down before the Lord comes back, then you ain't in the truth. You're in la la land. For you to think that ain't nothing gonna happen, you know. This is Amos 3 and verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evils in the city, and the Lord have not done it? Absolutely. So the Lord is going to be the one to bring the evil all around. It's going to seem like it's going to be Esau due to these psychological operations of the psychological operations. But guess what? It's going to be the Most High that's going to be doing all of this stuff, and there will be evil in this city. And I'm thinking about this song that I used to listen to the reggae, man, for quite a bit of time when I was in my early 20s. So I know a lot of them joints, especially them old school reggae joints, man. With Don Carlos, right? He did a song. He was with the Uhuru back in the 80s. You know, brothers that are like, of course, old enough to remember the 80s. You know, you remember the Black Uhuru group. And Don Carlos was a part of that. And this was the song that he did over here called Living in the City. And he was speaking about the ills of living in the city. Right, and he said that there's no pity, and literally, when the going gets tough, or as another saying goes, the push comes to shove, it ain't gonna be no pity. It's gonna be chaotic, man. People are gonna lose their fucking minds out here, and then you're gonna have the government result in the violence. Revelations 12 and 12 is gonna come in effect. People are gonna be drafted in to go fight. They saying that, look, our kids gotta go fight. You understand? So it's starting to get real. So you got this Elamite over here talking about, oh yeah, well, you know, we gotta look at the enemy at hand, and it's not Russia. Because before they were speaking about Russia, how Russia's maybe doing this, maybe is doing that. But now Russia ain't the one to worry about. It's Iran we got to worry about. So they put his ass on the scene, and he's coming with it. He's saying, look, the enemy ain't Russia. The enemy is Iran. And again, this has always been what it's been. It's always been about Iran. Like, if you listen to this individual, what was his name, man? And he kind of remind me of George W. Bush. He remind me of George W. Bush, right? Could be his cousin. He speaks just like him, too. And he mentioned that he was sitting around with this guy, Wolfowitz. His last name was Wolfowitz. And he was like saying, oh, yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come through and take these areas down. And he named them by he actually named the areas that the military was gonna go to, but the last place they were gonna go head up to is Iran. That's what this individual said. I forgot the guy's name, man. I want to go type his name so I can go speak on it, but I don't need to. It's all right. It's cool. I'll leave it alone. Right? And even my man, what's his name, man? He was singing this song about bomb Iran. What's his name, man? John McCain, that jackass. John McCain was supposed to be giving the speech, and he's talking about bombing Iran. And they've been speaking about this for years. Proverbs 16 and verse 4, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. And Esau's going to bring the day of evil, man. That's how the Lord is going to bring the day of evil. Remember, the scripture says here that if there be evil in the city, if the Lord have not done it. So the Lord is going to use Esau, the instrument, which is the sword, which is the Lord's whipping stiff, so to speak, right? To bring in the evil day. And that evil day, you're going to have some which are going to have the faith to withstand, to overcome it. And then you're going to have those that are not going to have the faith, nor the understanding, nor the knowledge of their power, and they're going to be consumed in it. All right? And as well as they're going to be given heed to take that implantable device, they're going to go into the military and they ain't going to come back. They're going to be a part of the ground which they were in. So the word contingency here reads something that might possibly happen in the future, usually causing problems or making further arrangements necessary. Yeah, so let's look up this word from an etymological standpoint. So you have the word kun, which means together, of course, and the word tanjir, which means to touch. Right? From the word tanjir, to touch, the noun sense was originally something happening by chance. Then a person's share resulting from a division, a quota. So that's it on that. So if the UK senses that there could be a possible T attack, then the Cobra meeting would have to get together and discuss these matters, and it actually begins with the prime minister, which is the if I'm correct, the senior servant of HM, Her Majesty. They would have to make discussions on it first in the meeting, and then come with whatever they gonna come with and how they gonna deal with the situation, right? But I think it begins before the senior of the Treasury. I'm talking about the members of the so-called royal family, so to speak. So they would all get together and discuss it and come up with an idea or plan to initiate that act. I'm talking about the Civil Contingency Act, which was passed in 2004. All right. Which gives the powers that be, emergency powers to be able to bring martial law measures. All right. And the word Cobra, because I'm down here in the UK, right? So Cobra, the Cobra meeting, for brothers across the pond, this is what it means. A Cobra meeting, or COBR, is the UK's Government Emergency Response Committee, named after the Cabinet Office Briefing Room, A. So altogether, you get the acronym COBRA. Like I said, it's going to be them having to discuss what's going to be had due to this reaction. But the civil contingency bill is going to basically allow the powers that be to act if they suspect something that's going to happen. All right. And if something did happen, I want to say it correctly, then you would have the Cobra meeting as a response. So anyway, this is Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 12. For a man also knoweth not his time as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. And so are the sons of men snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. And the thing with the masses of the people, they know what's happening. They know what's going on around them, but they don't know to the extent, and they're not really well aware at a consistent basis. So if some shit was about to pop off, then it would take them by surprise. But you see us over here, the water Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, for granting us this word and to giving us a mind of being aware and circumspect in these days and times. Listen, we're already ready minded for whatever's to come. And if it does come, it ain't going to take us by surprise, because we already saw it a mile away. Excuse me. We already saw it a mile away. Okay. 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 1. But of the time and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly, absolutely, that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So we gonna know that destruction is coming, just like we know now. There ain't gonna be, or we gonna know. No, we already know, and we just wait for it to happen. That's all it is. All right. And what's really gonna be had, it ain't gonna be nothing about Iran doing something, or yeah, we got a bunch of Al-Qaeda's on the loose, getting ready to do something crazy. No, we gonna know who's gonna be doing the crazy work. It's gonna be the same people that is supposed to have the ability to govern us correctly. Let me just put it that way instead, without actually saying it, because I don't want to get my video taken down. But we know where all of this is going to originate at, because random people, they don't do stuff like that. And especially the Muslim community, they already know that they looking bad out here. So they ain't gonna cause no hostility, because they know what's working up against them. If you living in the UK and you a Muslim, you know you gonna get got if you do something stupid out here. All right. And one thing about the Muslims, man, they ain't doing shit any doggone way. That's all I got to say with this, man. I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone, and the elder bishops on down. And I just want to mention as well, these Muslims, man, all these Muslims know how to really do is take an ass whooping from Esau. That's what they're best known for. They ain't gonna do nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? And if someone do something, you already know that ain't really them. That's something else, which is what we're widely expecting. I'm out. Shalom.